Hi everyone, welcome to today's discussion. I am Manish Singh, Director Marketing at Quinnox. And today we are exploring something that doesn't always make headlines, but is quietly powering the next wave of enterprise AI, knowledge graphs. Joining me is Max DaCosta, who heads our product experience at Qinfinite and who has been working with the enterprises to cut through IT chaos and make AI useful for them. Max, great to have you.
Thanks, Manish. As always, excited to talk about this. Knowledge graphs are one of those things where once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's like realizing that maps are better than lists when you're trying to get somewhere.
Let's put this in perspective, Max. Enterprises spend millions on AI, automation, and the cloud, but teams are still stuck with data silos, I would say. Why is this such a big deal?
That's a good point, Manish. Silos are like having, 1,000 puzzle pieces together, but no big picture in mind. And that's where you fail to, plug them seamlessly with each other. You've got all the data in place, but you have no idea how it fits, together. And let's take a scenario. Imagine it's 2 a.m., and your e-commerce site goes down all of a sudden. And IT sees server errors, operations sees network spikes, business sees orders dropping. Each dashboard is screaming out loud. A lot of noise, a lot of alerts. You don't know which one to look at. Who has the full story? And it's like you're going into battle, but you're going in blind. And that's the danger that silos bring. And here's the kicker, Manish. It's not just downtime that's an end result. It's not just chaos that's an end result. Silos will also cause duplicate projects, hidden risks, missed opportunities, and leaders will be making decisions based on these partial facts and truths. That's why it's dangerous and it's a big deal.
And I think that's a painful thing if you look at it. And it will sound familiar to a lot of people who have been there part of these war room discussions, I would say.
Exactly, Manish. Exactly. Silos create noise, not knowledge. And that's a fact.
I think interestingly, we can also have a quick pulse check for our audience. How many dashboards or tools do you use in a typical daily setup? Drop a number in the chat. I'm guessing it is more than between, or rather between 5 to 7 minimum is what I'm looking at. But yeah,
Great. So yeah, I'm sure Manish, you'll get a lot of insights from our listeners. For the benefit of all our listeners, let me, ask this question in the open. So what exactly is a knowledge graph or an enterprise knowledge graph or an ERG, what do we call them? Or an enterprise resource graph, as many people call them. Well, it's a living map of your entire enterprise, your entire IT landscape, your entire IT ecosystem. Instead of separate spreadsheets having a separate static CMDB instead of having logs. You have a live, always aware graph that connects everything: your apps, your servers, your users, your business processes, your people and projects that are associated with them. Just imagine the amount of in-depth detailed visibility on each of these entities and how they are interdependent and related to each other and how they impact each other. I think that's an amazing concept that the knowledge graphs bring to enterprises, Manish. In the real world, I could think of a metaphor like Google Maps. You just don't see the streets. It's you not only see the streets, you also
yeah.
see the traffic flow, you see alternate routes, even suggestions. Yeah, and I think that's the leap from data to context, Manish.
Yeah. So instead of looking at what's broken, you can ask what's connected, what kind of impact it creates, and the most important part is how do we fix it?
Exactly, exactly, Manish. And that changes how your AI works. So instead of guessing, AI can now advise you because it has factual data, factual truth, and context. So here's a very simple example, Manish, for all our listeners. Very simple example. Amazon doesn't just recommend you a random product. It connects, for example, you're buying a mobile phone and it will cross sell a charger along with it. So that's a graph in action. So now imagine that the same principle applies to your IT incidents, supply chains, or customer journeys. Isn't that really going to be helpful?
It will, Max. But I can't help but I want to ask you something. Why now? Why should enterprises care now? What's the urgency to it that is driving them towards the enterprise knowledge graphs, I would say?
Well, Manish, at the top of my mind, I can say three things or three
Okay.
drivers.
Okay.
First is complexity. If you look back, Manish, the last decade has been all about going digital, and you've seen the journey from the last couple of decades from your SMAC social mobile analytics cloud to your digital transformation. And today, everyone is, a digital and enterprise. And while they have been doing that, trust me, they have also added a lot of luggage, a lot of chaos into that whole transformation process. A lot of complexity has come in, right? And you're seeing a very healthy mix of legacy apps, modern apps, all working with each other, trying to work with each other. You have layers over layers. You have clouds of different nature, hybrid, private. It's just a complex jungle out there. So complexity is the first thing that comes to my mind. And as I just summarized, your SaaS apps, your clouds, your containers, your microservices, your traditional CMDBs cannot keep up with their nature of being static. They just cannot keep up. The second driver that's causing this urgency is cost pressures.
Hmm.
And you've seen the spends go down right now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Firefighting takes a lot of money. Yeah, your
Yeah.
modernization efforts take a lot of money. Your graphs come into picture, and they reduce the mean time to resolve your tickets and issues, and they prevent repeated issues. So that helps you keep a tab on your costs. And third is the game changer, that is Gen AI. So while LLMs are great, but without a graph, they will simply hallucinate.
Hmm.
And with a knowledge graph, with an enterprise knowledge graph, your Gen AI is more grounded in your enterprise facts. Okay. And therefore, it will have the right context for your enterprise and will be able to give you the right results. And trust me, Manish, this isn't hype in any way.
I
Gartner says 80% of data innovations by 2025 will be graph powered. And that's basically, tomorrow. We are there, and it's paying dividends to enterprises who understand the value of graphs. Back to
So,
you,
Max,
Manish.
if I can say, if you're not building this muscle, you're actually falling behind, or rather, you're actually moving more towards the failure.
Bang on, Manish. I couldn't have said it any better.
So, coming back to this, Max, I'm sure a lot of people are interested in knowing certain examples. How exactly enterprises can use knowledge graphs, I would say. Are there any examples that you can share with us, with the audience, so that they can relate to it in their day-to-day challenges that they're facing? How exactly knowledge graph can help them?
So I'll try to keep it simple, Manish,
Sure.
and I'll try to break it down, with a couple of domains. Let's talk about the fraud detection use case in finance. Yeah,
Okay.
your knowledge graph here intelligently connects different accounts, devices, transactions, different time zones, the geos. Yeah, suspicious things start popping up instantly because now you can see the intricate web of connections, right, and detect anomalies instantly. If you take the personalization use case in retail, your graphs connect your purchase history, your browsing, even your social signals. So
Yeah.
recommendations become more natural, and you tend to get converted pretty soon, and that's good for the business, right? If you look at deep visibility use case in your supply chains, you realize that the knowledge graphs don't just track your shipments or your packages. They help you track your suppliers, your customs, your warehouses. In fact, they give you the ability to see and engage with the whole chain. Your entire value chain is in front of you. And if you
Mhm.
look at the incident management use case in IT ops, you see that Qinfinite platform uses knowledge graphs to auto classify the tickets that come, find the root causes faster, and even auto remediate these issues, when they happen. And finally, I'll add one more there.
Yeah.
If you look at the predictive maintenance use case in manufacturing, enterprise knowledge graphs will be, a very healthy connection of IoT sensors, your parts, your maintenance logs. You know, you know, you know now a machine when it's going to fail, even before it fails, and that helps you take corrective action. I think these are some of the very apt and relevant use cases that I can think of, where knowledge graphs can really add value to enterprises, Manish.
So if you look at the pattern, it is very clear, Max. Graphs reveal hidden connections, if you look at it. And those connections are driving smarter decisions for the organizations today.
Yes. Yes, Manish, you're right. So if I have to sum it up in one line, I can say context plus connections will give you clarity. And no matter what AI LLMs you use over that, without context and clarity, you're not going to get far. So yes, you're absolutely right, Manish.
But Max, if you look at it, this sounds powerful, but at the same time, it's a little overwhelming. So how exactly anyone who is, who wants to get into this knowledge graph journey, who wants to look at it, who wants to adopt for their organization, the challenges that they are facing, or they foresee something, how they can even start that journey right now? That clarity, how can they have that with whatever insights that you can share?
Okay. So Manish, it may sound overwhelming, but it's not. Yeah. Theoretically speaking, it's like a 5 point journey. The
Yeah.
first being you identify all the entities in your IT landscape, number one. Number two, you define the relationships between them. And when I say relationships, you'll cover all those interdependencies and impact each one has on each other, all your correlations and your causal relationships, etc., etc. Third, you build a schema. Fourth, you ingest the data from all these different sources. And fifth, you enrich it with AI. Now, here's the kicker.
Mhm.
When I say you, it is not you as in you who have to do everything, right? Because Qinfinite intelligently builds this, always aware knowledge graph all by itself for you. Yeah, as a user, you have it ready, the platform, and that's a core capability of this platform. Very few enterprises would have the time or the resources or the skills to do this, and that's why we built Quinfinite with your knowledge graphs being one of those core and essential aspects of the platform, Manish.
So can I say you have already done the heavy lifting in this particular space?
Absolutely, Manish. Absolutely. And not only done the heavy lifting, we've made it, intelligent, ready. As you plug it in, you'll start seeing the results, pretty soon. And Quinfinite does this intelligent auto discovery of IT assets. It builds and updates the graph. It allows you as a user to add more context and add to that overall intelligence of the graph, right? And the AI layers on top of it. So it's like a single pane of glass that allows you to see and do everything. And it's not just IT. You have intelligent modules like your BizOps, right? You have FinOps, you have SustainOps, a lot of intelligent stuff built around it. For example, the BizOps module connects your IT events with business processes. So what does this do is this ensures that your IT and your business no more are working in silos. No more are chasing their own KPIs, but are now working towards shared business outcomes. Yeah. Our digital twin, which is now more intelligent, and we call it the Quinfinite Intelligent Twin, okay, simulates your entire IT ecosystem so that now you can run controlled chaos experiments even before things can go bust. You can run those simulations and make sure that your enterprise, your business is highly resilient. Yeah, your Gen AI is integrated natively, so your AI is now not just smart, it's context aware.
Hmm, interesting. So, for the folks listening to us, in fact, more than that, listening to what Max has been sharing, imagine if you had a Google map, like Max explained it to us, for your IT and for your business processes. What would be the first problem you would like to solve, using knowledge graph? Drop that in the chat, and probably Max and I and the team of Qinfinite will get back to you on that. Think of Qinfinite as your enterprise knowledge graph factory, I would say. Uh, so, Max, if you had to leave our audience with one message, what will it be for them? I would say.
Okay. So, Manish, I think AI without context is clever but highly unreliable. AI with a knowledge graph is
Mhm.
more factual, more trusted, and more strategic. So it understands your enterprises, it understands your enterprise business challenges, it understands your enterprise users and personas, and it will ensure that it really aligns with your business outcomes. So context is the key here, Manish,
I
which
think
knowledge graphs bring to the table.
that's the powerful message, Max. More importantly, I think you coming on board, helping all our viewers and listeners in knowing knowledge graph, how exactly they can start this journey. I'm sure it will have a lot of impact when they go back into their ecosystem, when they speak to their peers, their colleagues, and have this conversation. But more importantly, I would say we welcome them for any kind of queries that they have, any kind of support they need. More importantly, a demo to look at what you have explained, how exactly you and your team have implemented Knowledge Graph, how they have enabled them. I think it will be an interesting take for all of them. We would like them to connect with us. But in the overall scheme of what we have been discussing, Max, I think we'll continue to come up with this kind of conversation where these important features, the part where Quinfinite can enable the current organization, which the challenges that they are facing, will continue to have you as part of the discussion. I'm sure people would have enjoyed this short conversation between us, but we would like to invite you back again in the next part as well, Max. Um, Again,
Thank you, Manish. I would
team,
love to.
thank you, Max. Please feel free to book a Quinfinite demo, see how exactly your enterprise can come alive with Knowledge Graph. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for making it happen for all of us, Max. Again, thank you so much. Thank you, team.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my listeners. Thank you, Manish.
Bye.
Cheers.